Today, I get a chance to talk to some brothers that I know that you're going to love. You, if you don't already love them, and these individuals are guys that I consider to be just brilliant minds in the community, and smart enough that you need to listen to them, and brave enough that they're probably getting shadow banned and blocked and everything else, but never not on this channel because we want to hear from the black men and women who have the best ideas. So the first person I want to mention to actually before I begin, without being rude, I want to say welcome to everybody, and also shout out the city that you're from. And I see much love Afro and Toure Keeper and Kenyatta Whitford and King David. Good to see you. Let us know what city you're coming from. Also, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And so the first person I want to mention is Professor James Small. Professor Small is just a brilliant man who has a lot of great things to say and a lot of really great stories. By the way, I really enjoy talking to Professor Small. So I want to say welcome, brother. It's so good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
And absolutely. And the secondly is Mr. Maj Toure. Maj is out of Black Guns Matter in Philadelphia, and Maj is doing really great work in terms of heightening awareness on how we should control our guns and what that looks like. How you doing today, brother?
I'm wonderful. I'm just live tweeting out to let everybody know to tap in because they're about to get a lot of good information. So appreciate y'all, obviously, y'all brothers, for taking time out to have this dialogue, and just shouts to everybody.
All right. So Maj just got back from the gym, so he's about to go pump some iron and throw around some grown ass men. We got Rizza Islam. Rizza Islam is just a guy that I think has done really great work, not just in terms of talking about health and awareness, but also he happens to be a member of the Nation of Islam and just one of the great black leaders of our country. How you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm well, brother. It's always good to have discussions with strong, masculine, uncompromising black men on issues affecting our people and providing solutions to everything that we're dealing with. So it's always good to be with you, my brother Maj, and of course, the great Professor James Smalls.
All right. So there we go. That's right.
We in here, brother.
These brothers have earned their stripes. They've earned their stripes. So let's I want to start with this. We were all chatting kind of backstage before this conversation started, and we were discussing a comment that Rizza, you made about the Breakfast Club kind of changing up their format. I guess Angela Yee's leaving and they're making some adjustments, but they're still there. And and one of the things you mentioned was that the Breakfast Club had Dr. Fauci on several times. Now, we're not going to say the V word because y'all know how YouTube is. YouTube loves to ban people. But you had a different narrative that a lot of our people listen to. I remember when I went down to the Black House in Atlanta, and I saw you literally sold out the whole building, and people were lined up down the street and around the corner to hear what you had to say. But yet it seems that a lot of the mainstream platforms, including the Breakfast Club, and I just have to be honest with that, they don't really want to hear from people like yourself. What do you think is really driving that? Why do you think that they wouldn't even want to hear what somebody like you has to say?
You know, as the individuals on the show, Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Sister Angela Yee, what I know is that, you know, they do have an interest in bringing your brother on. They brought on at least 5 members of the Nation of Islam. They brought on the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. They brought on Brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad, Brother Student Minister Nuri, Mama, Brother Minister Tony Muhammad. They've brought on a number of the ministers. However, because of the specific topic that your brother has been exposing at the specific time and in the specific governmental influence that it has across the planet at this time, that is something that is a little too, I would say, a little too touchy for them to handle. It's above their level of ability to go into it, I would say, without interrupting their paper flow. That's the only thing I can say. So as them as individuals, I don't think they per se as individuals have any problem with me coming on. But then again, they don't control, you know, the money flow. They don't control everything at that network. They don't. And because of that, there's certain people who they do not want to anger by bringing your brother on, because Fauci, as I said, was brought on to represent the governmental narrative. He was brought on to represent their information, their narrative, but we have not had anyone, whether if it's myself or anyone else, to represent our truth and the narrative on our behalf, to expose the truth about what is really happening that Fauci, of course, was not going to reveal. So I think just in fairness, the people deserve to have the opposite side of the story. That's pretty much all I'm saying.
Okay, so Professor Small, you're the resident OG in the building. You've seen things, that maybe we're going through now. Maybe you're able to reference different eras, and I was really impressed with just your wisdom in terms of the experiences that you've had. In your view, what do you think what is really happening with Rizza and say the Breakfast Club or just a lot of mainstream platforms? Hey, what's the dynamic here in terms of strong Black voices relative to the media, even so-called Black media? What have you seen in history that kind of matches this?
Well, I agree with Brother Rizza's assessment. To me, I'm like 77 now. That's still young.
Wow. Yes, sir.
But Rizza reminds me of when I'm 16 and I'm meeting a guy named Malcolm X. That point of view, that way of doing your analysis, that kind of raw, very honest, straightforward, the media don't want to hear that because, like he says, it becomes the bottom line. And I'm working with a media project. I've had to fight every single day. My only victory is they only pay me $500. So I could tell them to step off and go, but I decide to stay and fight. And you win some and you lose some, in the project that I've been working on. But I fought to make sure that our image get the best possible presentation than we can. And I've embedded myself in such a way, it'll be a little hard to get rid of me without losing some of the Black actors that they don't want to lose. So, but Brother Rizza, and I've been watching him in the last couple of years, and we were in Atlanta together, but the COVID thing, everything was so crazy. We were even in the same stage, but didn't get a chance to really talk. But I keep up with him because he's beloved by all of my children and grandchildren. Young people love his approach to explaining truth. And I've always tried to learn, and this is something, go back to the nation's teaching. Everybody know I come out of Muslim Mosque Inc. I followed Malcolm as the imam. But Malcolm came out of the Nation of Islam. So some people cut it off right there, right? No, you got to follow the source. And I've tried to learn a methodology that was the way the ministers in the nations taught back in the 50s and the 60s. It was what Malcolm called making it plain. Tell the truth so that the people that you're trying to help understand what you're saying. That's what I like about you, Brother Rizza. You've captured it. How do I tell the truth so this next generation who you represent, you're their spokesperson, how do I say to them and give an analysis of our contemporary situation so that they get it? That's what they're afraid of. What they've always been afraid of,
Okay.
Don't let the people get it.
Okay, so Maj, let's since we're on this theme of the Breakfast Club, and they were a big part of the news today. I know you and I've talked, and if I'm not mistaken, you had mentioned that they seem to not really want to hear what you have to say either. Maybe because you don't fit into a political box. And I want to be clear to everybody, this is not a criticism or an attack on anybody, but it is kind of pointing out things, right? So we talked about the paper flow, as Rizza calls it, which can suppress certain voices in the Black community. With Maj, what I see is that because you don't really fit squarely in a Democrat or Republican box, among other things, that causes them to kind of say, well, we got to stay away from this guy. What's your experience been when you've had your people kind of reach out to platforms like the Breakfast Club?
I think that if some of these guys made a fuss, there's no one more so-called controversial on the planet right now than controversial in air quotes than Minister Farrakhan. I mean, there's in reality, right? Based on lived experience, based on you can't trick me because I was there, because I'm older than you, because of still being healthy, still all of these different things. And they had the minister on. Just like, Brother Rizza said, they've had a lot on. So it's not the thing about the devil is the devil will play if the devil could make some bread. So it's not about like if Rizza is on there, the level of controversy and clicks will be through the roof. So I think that they do have a way of, meaning the actual Angela Yee, Charlemagne, and Envy, especially Charlemagne, they could press to have, you know, anyone that they want on. I think that they pick their targets very, I think they give one and they take one. I think they so-called give one and they give 3 to the other side or 5 to the other side. To Rizza's point, so I do want to give them some pushback in that regard. But at the same time, you know, so what the elder, you know, Professor Small is saying, they also do understand that the ability or the power of to translate a lesson very simply is something that could really, really impact their advertisers' revenue. Because those young people that listen to that will, if all it took is an hour long format discussion with Rizza on there, changes the minds of a lot of young people. Very simply. And it's not that the brother will, and I'm deferring to Rizza because he's way more polished in his communicating than I am. And I'm talking about violence. So it creates a different, you know what I'm saying? It creates a different like thing. He's super respectful. I reserve the right to be very disrespectful. You know what I'm saying?
Give me some of that too, brother. I'll take some of that too now.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But there's a, and I'm gonna say this, one of my favorite presidents is Barack Obama, not because of policy, like at all, but because of his ability to remain cool in the face of clear racism as he ran. That's a skill set that very few people, usually when I have my firearm on me, I could do that because I could just avoid. But he was in a space where he couldn't avoid. And that's a skill set that, and I think Rizza has that. You know what I'm saying? And so somebody like me not being on, I could absolutely understand why. I could absolutely understand why even more so, because you can't box him in the same way because he's too polished. He's too good. You know what I'm saying? And so in regards to me, I kind of knew they wasn't gonna, like, I made all of Black America go buy guns. It's just like, yo, bro, like, I get it. It's like, you know how certain, it's like, no, bro, I get it. I know why you're not. You know what I'm saying? There's more of a contradiction for them not to have him on, though. The information is sound. You've had members of the nation on. You've had the most controversial being, I dare to say, in the last 30, 40 years on in America. So it's a huge contradiction. And I think everyone, especially since they're changing the platform, I think everyone that, if you still watch The Breakfast Club or if you follow them on social media, there should be, and I'm saying this is not, you know, our brother saying this, I think there should be a serious campaign to ask, why hasn't the brother been on? And he should be on, period. If you say you about the voice, listen, because Charlemagne says things, they all say things, black, 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 black. Okay. There's a Black brother right there that's polished and articulate and smooth and respectful. Why isn't the brother on? So that's what I would challenge the listeners to kind of like, you know, campaign for. And that's, again, that's me saying that. Partially too, just because I want to see the brother on there. I kind of like want to see people's faces, kind of like in it, you know,
like
so
that.
Well, you know, and by the way, everybody, I'm speaking with Professor James Small, Rizza Islam, and Maj Toure, and we're really having an open conversation. These guys are all smart, and so I'm not going to tell them what to talk about. If you could do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, you know, just in terms of this conversation about independent media, you know, we're not 100% independent because we are on YouTube and Spotify and stuff like that. But at the same time, we don't take corporate sponsorship or anything like that. so we can avoid the problems that these brothers just described, and so there are Black-owned businesses that do have our back, though, and one of them is on the screen, Baybright BVE. I'm gonna read this because they're supporting this podcast, so they deserve to be shouted out. Baybright is an author, musician, and entrepreneur, and the CEO of Baybright Vision Entertainment. BVE licenses digital products in the form of urban music, ebooks, and merch. All BVE products by Baybright are available now at baybrightbve.com and at all major digital retailers worldwide. So if you support these ideas, I hope you will support the Black-owned businesses that step up, because one of the things I'm hearing, Professor Small, is that the money is the motive in terms of containing and controlling Black voices, that our economic independence on our oppressors and these other people that don't have our best interests at heart. It's one of the things that keeps us from truly being free. I'll say, I did get invited on the Breakfast Club a few times. I was honored to go on there, and I had no problem with Charlemagne. We were cool when we talked and everything. But at the same time, I think that we are not always aware of the depth of economic warfare that's declared on our people in terms of how money is used, not just on Black people, really around the world, Professor Small, to allow that man to pursue his agenda. He uses economics to achieve a goal. Can you kind of speak to some of that in terms of things that you've seen in your experience?
Well, my thing is to follow history. History erases the mystery, but you got to really look at real history, right? And you can't separate your economic, your politics, and your culture. Those three things are married. And what they try to do in this country is make us separate them. Economics over there, you deal with that separately. Culture's here, you deal with that separately. And your politics is here. No, those things are married, but they have positions. Economic is at the foundation of the other two, even though culture, which is at the top, directs, because in the culture is your ethics, your moral, your spiritual consciousness. It directs the intelligence that governs the economics. Last year we recorded that Africans in America spent $1.6 trillion. If that's true, we shouldn't have a single unemployed person in America. If that's true, we shouldn't have a single brother or sister going to prison in America. So what is wrong there? If we spent that much, the reason it doesn't have any effect, and this comes back to you, Brother Rizza, you see, because it is how you give direction to the money, how you give direction to the mind that creates the ideas that interpret how monies are used. That's what people are afraid of. It's okay, they got money, let them make all the money they want. Long as there's nobody saying, hey, yo, come here. There is a method to the money madness. How do you spend it? How do you make economic, politics, and culture produce food, clothing, shelter, and safety for you and your family? How do you use economic, politics, and culture with economics at the foundation, right? To get control of land, labor, and resources where you live. That's what they're afraid of, those kinds of directions. And to put it in a framework, in a conversation that the youth understand, because we say youth, but we're talking about the most college-educated group of Blacks in the country, in the history of the country, the most technically educated groups of Black in the country, in the history of the country, the wealthiest group of youth in the country, in the history of the country, from our community, and they need guidance and direction.
That's fact.
That's what it's about.
Well, you know what? Before I pass that ball to you, Rizza, man, I have to just say, I was meditating on what Professor Small said, and I'm gonna put this on the screen, everybody. I need y'all to pay attention. We're about to go to class right now. We're about to go to church, whatever it is. I need everybody to remember those three words he mentioned and how important it is to tie them together. Economics, culture, and politics. Now, he said economics, politics, and culture. I switched the words, and let me explain why. I thought about the word escape. And if you take the word escape and you take out the S and the A and the E, you get economics, culture, and politics.
Okay.
So Black people, if you want to escape the chains of oppression, then you need to control your economics, your culture, and your politics. That acronym, ESCAPE. Everybody type the word ESCAPE in the chat who gets what we're saying right here. I think an easy acronym. Yes, the word ESCAPE. Everybody write the word ESCAPE. Your economics, your culture, and your politics must be connected for you to really get this thing called freedom. And so Rizza, Professor Small made a brilliant point where he said that they're getting us to, or they've gotten some of us to believe that economics, culture, and politics should be separated. That you can talk about the culture and the politics over here. Everybody go vote. Let's all talk about our favorite rappers and all. The BET does the award show. For the culture. So we're always talking about culture. A lot of talk about politics, but the talk about economics is somehow in many cases separated from that. A thing or two about how those things connect, because I know what you talk about within the Nation of Islam. That's why I admire the Nation, because I think the Nation gets it. What are the conversations among young people that you're having in terms of helping us really just understand that, just what freedom really looks like? You're one of the freest Black men in America. What does that mean, and how do you achieve that, and how do you maintain that?
The first thing is we have to be honest about exactly how free we really want to be and what it will take for us to get there. And one major difference that I've noticed within this generation versus not in our brother elder Professor James Small's generation, but right below his, is that there is a fear factor still controlling a lot of our people. They are afraid. Because once you get out of an area of your comfort, once you get out of an area of what you are used to, then you realize, wait a minute, if we are not going to rely on our open enemy to give us food, then that means we must have to become the producers of food. If we cannot rely on this system to provide education for us, then now we must become the educators. If we can't rely on them to produce international trade and commerce and business agreements across the diaspora, then that means we have to become the tradesmen and women. We can't rely on them when it comes to the economics, the money, the trading on Wall Street, or the moving things for gold and all of the different resources. We must become the architects of all of this. So now it forces me to think in a way where I have to be at cause and no longer at effect. I have been used to being at effect for so long. I've been used to letting other people do things for me. And now I'm at a point to where I have no choice but to rely on my people and ourselves. That is not an easy reality for a lot of us to accept, because we have become comfortable with being lazy, mediocre, and bowing down to our open enemy. It's really at that point, and this generation gets it, because now you have 16-year-olds becoming millionaires from drop shipping on the internet. You have 14-year-olds becoming millionaires from doing video game reviews on YouTube. There's a different world out here now, to where the bar is different. The bar is different. I don't have to have a master's degree to become a millionaire. I don't have to have a PhD in order to control the area upon which the PhD has been given to me for. Bill Gates, for example, who runs the majority of the medical industry while having no degrees in it. There's a different world here, and we understand there are other factors. Yes, when it comes to him and his father and his lineage and white and all of that stuff, but at the same time, it's a different world. It's a different reality. So we have to get over our comfort is one major thing. We have to get over the fear of this body being destroyed and look at those who can control the soul and the spirit. That is who we should fear, which is, as we're taught, and you already know, is Almighty God, Allah, whether if you want to call it the Most High, Jah, etc. That is the only entity that we fear. That's where it is for us at this point, which is why, as all of you were saying, we're not liked by those who enjoy comfort. None of us on here are liked by anyone who enjoys comfort, because comfort, even when it comes to water and how it flows, anything that remains stagnant becomes stale. It turns to a rotten type of circumstance. It devolves, it degrades, it becomes more negative than positive. So we have to continue flowing, moving, progressing, elevating, and evolving. And that's where we're going. And a lot of people are not ready to go. That's why some of them are going to get left behind, although we don't want them to. It's just going to happen naturally.
All right. Well, everybody, I want everybody to know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to Professor James Small. His website, by the way, is ProfessorSmallAfricanWorld.com, ProfessorSmallAfricanWorld.com. I'm speaking with Mr. Rizza Islam. His website is RizzaIslam.com. And also he has a text number, and I'm going to put it on the screen and also say it out loud, but then I'm going to put it on the screen as well. You could text him at 310-634-0790. 310-634-0790. Somebody type that in the chat and I'm gonna put it on the screen. Also, Mr. Maj Toure from Black Guns Matter. His website is solutionarylifestyle.org. That's solutionarylifestyle.org. Do us a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe, and give us a yes in the chat if you can take this video and share it with other people. Because as you know, there's a battle with mainstream media. We are trying our best to develop Black media, reach as many people as we can. We could really use your help. So give us a verbal confirmation. Everybody type a yes in the chat. All you got to do is take that link and just share it on your social media, share it on your Facebook, pass it around. Give me a yes in the chat if you're willing to do that, because we got to work together to make this happen. So I'm gonna move to you, Maj. Rizza brought up some interesting points that made me think about you and your background in terms of you. You are a person who has a strong interest in security. I picked that up. You and I had a great chance to talk in Philadelphia. I always love talking to you, man. I think you're so smart and brave, and I love what you're doing, and you know exactly what you want to do in the world, and I respect that immensely. And so when you talk about that, what it makes me think about is something that people bring up all the time. They say, Doc, if we build a Black Wall Street, all they're gonna do is burn it down. All they're gonna do is if we get a bunch of stuff, all they're gonna do is come take it. And that right there says to me that maybe we don't spend enough time talking about what that means to be secure, what it means to be self-sustaining, what it might mean if the stuff really goes down, if there's a nuclear war, if there's a race war, anything like that, right? Can you speak to that in terms of what we need to be thinking about from a security standpoint? Once we get the money and the politics and everything else, that when we get the power, people are going to come for us. What are some thoughts that we should be discussing among our people?
I am of the belief that if you are adequately prepared and people know you prepared, they won't come for you. I think what happens a lot of times is that talk, and then people don't prepare. They could come for one or two, but I'll give you a perfect example. Every so often on the internet, somebody will say, when I see Maj, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, whoop-de-whoop, right? And there's guys that have said this for years. And I literally tweet my exact location all the time. I'll be here at this time on this day. I'm wearing a red tank top. I'm going to go to Whole Foods or whatever. Sidebar, there's a Black-owned grocery store that I just spent a lot of money in Philly. So take Whole Foods out and put that grocery store in.
Shout them out. There you go.
And so these guys never show up. It's hard to find somebody that got a gun and that can fight.
Come on with it.
So I think a lot of times if people collectively start to recognize, those guys are kind of like on point, maybe we shouldn't go over there. Firearms are deterrents. The ability, CQB, the ability to study, the ability to generate resources, the ability to defend what you have, these are deterrents. When a guy at the store that you walk into waves at you, the greeter, they're not waving at you and saying hi because they like you. They're letting you know that I see you, to stop you as a little deterrent for you to stop potentially taking stuff. So I think a lot of times when that statement happens, I think we're doing a 72-hour course with our brother Akil. That's a Green Beret. That's a Special Forces dude. September the 16th through the 19th. And I hear a lot of people saying, yo, man, I don't know if I'm ready for that course. The course is how you get ready. Why am I saying that? Is because in the process of getting ready and being very clear about your level of ready, a lot of people that are cowards won't even try you. No different than when the LGBTQ plus community, that they're organized. So you're going to cater your speech to protect their feelings. No different than when our Jewish folks, when they got a position, to not say certain things because they're going to call you an anti-Semite. I'm not mad at them for doing that. I'm saying our community has to go like, bro, I got a SIG right here. I got an MPX right here. There's nothing that's going to happen to me in any space that I'm in. And if it does, that means the person was more prepared than I was. So I think a lot of times when people say that, they kind of saying it, to the point of like, you really kind of just scared. And this fear, like I didn't expect to be alive this long. Everything from here is like a up, bro. Like,
that's a fact. That is a fact.
It's kind of that vibe. I think if we prepare, if people see us preparing, if we're being respectful, you know, I love that, you know, Doc, that you bring up the respect and admiration that you have for the nation, because to be perfectly honest, no diss to anybody else, and I'm not a member of the nation, but no diss to anybody else. When I was at the anniversary of the Million Man March, I was too young for the original one. However, I saw a level of squared away brothers that I don't really see often.
And I was at all of them.
How many times have brothers from the nation been attacked by the white supremacists?
You're right.
So I think it's more about just being respectful, being squared away, and people knowing that what you're capable of. And the people that kind of say that, I would challenge them to like evaluate. When I say that, I mean, if we do this, they're going to do that. Bro, it was over 40 Black Wall Streets across America. They only tell you about Tulsa.
Right.
You feel me? So I just think being prepared and letting people know, hey, I'm about love and I'm an armed pacifist. I'm really nonviolent. I'm a nonviolent dude. I'm built for that. However, I think that if we do that more, I think we'll see some more of the progress going in that direction. That's just my take.
Well, I like that. You know, I tell my daughter every day, preparation is the key to success. Yeah, you know, and you talk about preparation. So everybody, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I'm speaking with Professor James Small, Rizza Islam, Maj Toure, and we're just having a broad-based conversation about a lot of interesting issues. And because my time is limited, I got to prepare tonight. I'm bringing in Dr. Claude Anderson for the book club, and we're studying Powernomics tonight. So if you want to join the book club, you can actually go to blackkeystogreatness.com. It's totally free to the community. You can anybody can join, and we are reading Powernomics literally word for word. What you got? What's that?
I'm rereading this. Somebody stole my copy. I'm back on it. Shouts to Dr. Laila Africa.
There you go. The Nutricide. Nice. Yeah. So each one teach one. So if you want to join us tonight with Dr. Anderson rolls through, just go to blackkeystogreatness.com. You can join us for the Powernomics conversation. And also, real quickly, again, shout out to the sponsor, Bay Bright BVE. They are sponsoring this podcast. Bay Bright is an author, musician, and entrepreneur, and the CEO of Bright Vision Entertainment. BVE licenses digital products in the form of urban music, ebooks, and merch. All BVE products by Bay Bright are available now at baybrightbve.com and all major digital retailers worldwide. If you'd like to do a shout out on the platform, just go to drboycefinance.com and I can shout out your business. You support us, we'll support you. We need to stay independent. So what I would like to ask all of our guests to do is to give kind of a closing statement, something that we can sort of carry today and walk away with that will make us better people, make us smarter people. And as you speak, I'm actually going to put up websites and contact information for each of you so everybody can follow up with you. And I hope it's okay for me to lay it out like this, but in my mind, I want to go to Rizza first, and then Maj, and then end with the King Elder, Professor James Small. So Maj, Rizza, fire away, brother. Take the time that you need. What can we do right now that's going to just make us all better and stronger people moving forward?
First thing I'll say is we need to go ahead, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, which is find the unity among those who are like-minded. One major issue that we have is that we think that we have to unite with every single individual among our people in order for us to become successful, when in reality, that isn't the case. We have a number of our people that are too far gone mentally, whether they are programmed, they've been mentally infiltrated, or what have you. So we have to unite among those of our people who are like-minded. That is number one. Number two, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that we should argue over religion after we are free. And the last thing I will say is we should not have any fear of any enemy whatsoever, wherever, at any point in time, because we are the most powerful generation that has ever been produced, is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said. And God is behind us, whatever you want to call it, him and or her. We literally are the answer to the prayers of our ancestors. There is no one else that we need to rely on. We will not, and I will say this very clearly for our generation, I refuse to pass this on to my children. This fight that we are dealing with, I refuse to not do as much as I can at this time to set them up to be more successful, more able, and have more progress in the future than we have had in this current situation or those prior to. So I think if we come together, unite, argue over religion after we're free, and again, have no fear when it comes to moving forward, I think that is something that we can collectively agree upon, and God willing, we will be successful.
All right. So that's RizzaIslam.com if you want to follow Rizza. And I encourage you to do that. I think this brother gets banned about once a week. I know you get banned a lot too, man.
That's right.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we follow these guys, these individuals on as many channels as possible, so that we can stay connected. This black media is extremely important. We appreciate what the Breakfast Club is trying to do, but they got shackles on their feet. There's only so much they can do. The real true freedom fighters are individuals that are in this room. So I encourage everybody, text 310-634-0790, and you can stay connected to Rizza, even no matter who tries to block him or ban him. All right. So Mr. Toure, what's your final statement, sir?
I just think that the health, the lack of, again, being brave and courageous. Nowhere do you go on this earth and you escape death. Come on. It's going to happen. Like, it's going to happen, bro. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to happen. Use this time to be doing something productive for your hood, for your community, and that could sound really small, but if everybody's doing that in their hood, in their community, then that's not small, So health, bravery, and courageousness, and be armed, man. Train. And I'm not saying if you're anti-gun or you're nervous about firearms right now, you can go to the gym, you can get stronger, you can work on your cardio, you can change your diet up, you can do things to like they're really killing you through your fork, champ. So really just taking a moment to kind of like reflect on that and be there for you, man. Just be kind to each other, man. Everybody ain't gonna be on the same wave, That's cool, man. The ocean ain't the same wave, but we need it to be here, So that's it, man. Just everybody just keep being kind to each other in our communities. Understand that, your position, I'm not as obviously well read or as aged as, Professor Small. I'm absolutely not as polished and articulating the points as, our brother Rizza is, but there's a lane for me too. If you happen to be in the hood, and if you happen to be a little bit more rough around the edges, we need you in our community too.
That's a fact. Don't shortchange yourself, brother. Come on.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
you out here, bro.
You know what I mean? So that's it, man. Just be kind to each other, and come sign up for some free classes. The website's on the thing. The classes are free. Come learn. If you're going through something, you got baby mama issues, it's not too late. You got issues, you ain't see your children in a minute, it's not too late. You know what I'm saying? Just email us. If you're going through something, I'd rather hear your issues, and I'll email you my direct number as well. I'd rather talk to you about your issues than read your obituary. You know what I mean? So that's it.
All right. Well, solutionarylifestyle.org. That's where you can go and support what Maj is doing. And I will add for sure that what you're talking about, Maj, is really diversity. We need diversity if we're going to solve these problems. And what I like about Maj is it really is true with every brother on this panel is that none of us are the same. All four of us have different backgrounds, experiences. We're bringing different skills to the table, but there's nothing but love and respect in the discussion, right? And I think that's something I'm hoping all of us can pick up on. I don't personally enjoy getting on the internet and seeing grown 45, 50-year-old men arguing back and forth like teenage girls. I just don't like it. It's not.
Give the teenage girls a bad rap.
They make the teenage girls look bad. And what y'all are watching are really some grown ass men that know what men are supposed to do. So I hope everybody will take notes from that. We are trying our best to set an example, and these men are great leaders, and I hope everybody will follow every one of them. So Professor Small, you are I saved you for last because I really wanted you to, and you take all the time you need. What is your closing statement, sir?
Okay. Well, Rizza raised something that we should have expanded on, and that's that fear. There's this fear, and I think, Maj, you raised it also. There's this fear. I have 8 kids, Everybody got a gift in their household. Two things they had to put in their household when they left my household. First, they couldn't leave my household until they got a master's degree in something, and that has to be in service to the Black community. And thank God they all gave that blessing. Secondly, when you left my household, you had to set up an ancestral shrine with pictures in your new household. And third, we call it a pet. I gave each one of them their own pet and trained them how to use it. And everyone in my household have an instrument of protection. And some of them have gone further and got their, permits and other things so they can be more forthright with it. But we live in a world that demands that happens. The other piece is, Dr. Wade Nobles, he gave me this trip, and I like it. It says, history erases the mystery and lets you work your black magic. But he went further, and he says, what happened, we are suffering from a shattered consciousness and a broken black identity. So when we get to this fundamental question of gun violence, there is no gun violence in America. There's mind violence in America. Minds pull the triggers of guns. Guns don't shoot themselves. I got one in the next room and one in this room. I've never heard them go off without me being with them. Okay? So that concept is negative and wrong and deceptive, because we are talking about minds that have been formulated in the hands of the enemy of our race. The educational system have produced individuals without self-worth, self-value. They don't develop self-discipline or self-love. If I don't love me, how the hell am I going to love you?
Come on.
And if I love me, then I love you. And I can't kill what I love. But we have an educational system. We have a socio-cultural socialization process that demonized the very identity of the black man, even today. And Dr. Hilliard taught us that true freedom is to be shackled to your identity. What they've done to us is make us want to be anything but shackled to our identity.
Come on.
And in this walking out of high school at 18, a young brother can barely read, can barely write, can't get a job. We have an occupying enemy force who call the police in our community all of his life that have felonized him before he's 16 years old. So he's guaranteed not to get employment anywhere. He's been raped and abused and misused before he's 18 in the penal system. A large percentage of the population that are using these weapons in our community, and they dump them for recycling into the community. Then you got another institution in our community that we have not addressed. It's the churches, especially the Catholic Church, that run these child care facilities, that run these homes for children facilities, that take these babies from young black teenagers when these kids are like 15, 16, 17 years old, and they've got this 1 to 2 year old baby that they miseducate, abuse, misuse, and turn into drug addicts, and at 18, dump them on the street with a one-time welfare money. And the women that dump them on the street and give them a welfare apartment and welfare money, most of them have not finished a high school. That is the population that have been so damaged, that is angry, hurt, scared, without hope, and without opportunity, that's fighting against us. They're rebelling against us because we are not addressing the genocide that has been heaped on that population. And I think we need to pay attention to it. And we have lessons. And Rizza, I don't know, you may have heard me speak, because I have a problem. See, folks say, how are you going to be the imam of Malcolm's Mosque? But half the time, I'm talking about the Nation of Islam. Because the only institution in this country to this date that has been going since the 1930s, that have been able to resurrect the most damaged black men in the history of the world and make them whole men again, is the Nation of Islam. Now, they have a program that obviously works. And the churches need to go sit down with the minister as a minister. I don't want to become a Muslim, but show me how that program works.
Right.
All right. Show me how it works. The social institutions in our community, because we got these babies that have been damaged by the system. Yes, we've got millions that go to college. We got most of our people got jobs, Most of them are living relatively good. But we got millions that have been damaged deliberately and injured and hurt. And they're the ones that's striking out of the hurt, the pain, the fear, the hopelessness. And it is our job to give them hope. You know,
yes, sir.
It's our job to give them possibilities and an opportunity. You know, right now, we don't even, if I call right now, brother, to have somebody come and fix the plumbing in my house, the last person I see walk through my door would be an African-American child. If I call for anybody to do the electrical work in my house, the last person going to ring that bell is going to be an African-American child. If I call for a roofer, if I call for someone to do my yard, something's wrong with that. This is where we come back to that question of economic politics and culture. You can't take control of that unless you take control of the socialization of your children, which is how they get their values, their interests, and their principles. And you can't do that unless you give them the real history, not the other people's history of you, but your history of yourself. So my thing is always big: history, history, history erases the mystery, allow you to work your black magic.
Wow. I really love that. And I think that was that's a great way for us to all make sure we're walking away with something. I want everybody in here listening. I don't want you just watching it and clapping and saying, way to go. I need you to see yourself as part of this process. We don't need nobody on the bench. Everybody's a player in this game. So the first thing you can do, ProfessorSmallAfricanWorld.com. Go support this brother, connect to this brother's social platform. Everybody do that. Also, give me a yes in the chat if you will take this video, and I'm asking each and every one of you that's watching, please promise, give me a verbal yes that you will take this link and you will share it on your Facebook, your Instagram, anywhere you can share it, because y'all know as well as I do. I mean, you don't get this everywhere. You ain't gonna get this on TV. I know if I'm the white man, I'm not gonna put this on TV. I'm like, no, we need to have all these men eliminated immediately. They will never ever see the light of day. So it's not their job to do it though. It's our job, right? Because that's what a man does. You strike your own destiny. Power is the ability to pursue your agenda despite the opposition of others. That's in Empowernomics. And so I want to say thank you to all of our guests, Professor James Small, Maj Toure, Rizza Islam, and he's got his copy of Powernomics right there. Yes, so don't forget that tonight Dr. Claude Anderson's coming through for the book club. And if you'd like to join the book club, you can join for free. You can go to blackkeystogreatness.com and sign up. And also, very quickly, I want to say also thank you to the Black-owned business that sponsored this great conversation, BayBrightBVE.com. If you'd like for us to shout out your business, shout out your platform, or blow you up, just go to drboycefinance.com. And if your business is in alignment with the mission of this podcast, we will consider you. We reject a lot of businesses, but there are some. But if you fit the description in a good way, we will bring you in. And so thank you all, everybody, and God bless you, brothers. This was a great conversation. And everybody that's listening, please have a wonderful day. And don't forget, you can check this podcast out on Spotify also. So we'll see you soon, and take care now. Peace.